Hey everyone, it's Sierra Nova here, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This video is called Cruel Ways to Go Out, and it's pretty self-explanatory. But just in case it's not, allow me to explain a little bit more, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm pretty sure we've seen some messed up things, and that's what comes with the anime and or animation series in general. That's the cost of our love, the risk of being traumatized. Now, I can't possibly cover all of them because the anime and the animated series world is a vast one, but I think I have a good idea of scenes that may have affected everyone to some degree. Now, the first character that came to mind is from Naruto, and his name is Itachi Uchiha, and we're going to be talking about the Tsukiyomi and the Uchiha Massacre. Now, if you hear me reference two things from the same anime or same animation series, just keep in mind that they're going to be sharing a slot. After all, I want to try and keep it as fair as possible. Anyway, let's go ahead and start with the Tsukiyomi. Now, I believe the first time we saw this terrifying jutsu was when Itachi used it on Kakashi. This jutsu makes you suffer for unbelievable amounts of time, and you're at the complete mercy of the caster. Now, the Tsukiyomi is a Mangekyou Sharingan Dojutsu, and it's one of the most powerful genjutsu in existence, and for good reason. Itachi used Tsukiyomi as a means to subject his victims to days worth of torture in a matter of seconds. Kakashi constantly relived being stabbed over and over, and after the jutsu was finished, Kakashi didn't die, but he probably would have if Lady Tsunade hadn't healed him. After all, it was so bad that Kakashi was in a comatose state. In addition, we also have the Uchiha Massacre. I simply couldn't leave this one off after some thought, and the worst part of this is that the Uchiha clan didn't suspect this at all. Talk about being wiped out from the face of the earth. I don't know what was more shocking, the fact that Itachi was able to bring himself to do it, or the fact that his parents welcomed their deaths and accepted it.
In that case, why don't we move along? I'd like to use you as a test subject for a new...
As for the next character that comes to mind, this one is from Bleach, and his name is Mayuri, and we're going to talk about his superhuman drug. Now, this drug of his is nothing to take lightly. It actually caught me by surprise and kind of excited me at the same time. The first time we saw this was during a battle between two scientists, and we all knew that only one of them was walking away alive. Little did our 8th Espada know, this would be his final battle, and he would feel the remnants of it for centuries.
It's been so long. How many years? How many decades have come and gone since he... No, wait. It's been longer than that. It's been centuries.
Which is pretty cruel and messed up if you ask me. I definitely think it deserves to be on this list, because I gotta tell you, I actually felt bad for him at this point. I don't think I would ever want to imagine what this would feel like. It sounds excruciating and painful, and I'm guessing that the 8th Espada had plenty of time to sit there and think about what he did wrong and where he messed up in this fight. It's pretty crazy that this drug was just an experiment and it was able to do something as deadly as that. The 8th Espada was literally waiting decades upon decades to be killed and had no option but to watch Mayuri's blade pierce his heart slowly. Basically, his senses had become superhuman via the drug Mayuri created, and it made everything slow down to torturous degrees. The 8th Espada found it so unbearable that he was practically begging to be stabbed and eagerly welcomed his death.
Hurry! 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 Hurry up and kill me!
That's how bad it was.
Why did you call us here?
Me?
So none of us signaled the alert. Oh God, what's going on? Is it bad?
Alright, now this next character actually belongs to an animated series, and his name is Omniman. Now, Omniman was responsible for a lot, and we actually got a 2-for-1 deal going on with this next slot. And I gotta say, I know I put Itachi and Mayuri on this list, seeing as they're responsible for some cruel techniques and stuff as well, but at least Itachi did the Uchiha Massacre for a cause, and Mayuri at least used his drug on an enemy. Omniman here, on the other hand, just went savage on his allies and ruthlessly ended their lives. Needless to say, I'm sure a lot of people would agree that the Guardians of the Globe went out horribly, as well as that random black pilot that Invincible had just saved from his dad.
Thank you. Didn't think I was gonna make it.
You almost killed him!
Instead, you saved him. So much effort. For what?
No!
As for the Guardians of the Globe, they were all falsely summoned, and Omni-Man basically gathered them all in one location, and I guess he did this to ensure that no one survived, and so that he wouldn't have to hunt them down individually, but it's still pretty messed up. They put up a good fight as much as they could, and Omni-Man didn't walk away unharmed at least, and seeing as he worked with them for quite some time now, I figured he'd at least give them a painless death if he was going to kill them. But I guess he showed how he really felt and didn't see the need for mercy.
Tanjiro. Take up your sword. What you must cut is within your reach.
So this fourth slot is slightly different, but not so much because it's still a cruel way to go out. But our next character is from Demon Slayer and his name is Tanjiro. Anyway, this was mostly self-imposed and Tanjiro didn't necessarily die from this, but he definitely would have died if he kept going because it was getting hard for Tanjiro to detect reality. Now I have to give massive props to Tanjiro because he's very resilient, strong-willed, determined, and more importantly, he has immense resolve. We saw that clear as day in this movie, and to do something like that to yourself nonetheless, not knowing if it would work or not, takes a lot of courage.
Idiot! When you wake up, keep your eyes closed or you'll just fall asleep again! Okay, I'm awake. Damn!
Granted, Tanjiro was trapped in a dreamlike illusion, but it was happening so often that he was losing track of time, and if he would have did that not knowing that he was back in reality, that would have been a cruel way for him to go out.
At that terrible moment, in our hearts, we knew home was a pen. Humanity, cattle.
Now, as far as this fifth slot goes, this one is a little bit different, but the overall message is that being eaten is a cruel way to go out. We've seen this in Attack on Titan, Tokyo Ghoul, and even Promised Neverland. Honestly, I don't think I need to explain why this deserves to be on this list, but let's just say that Attack on Titan is the last anime world I would want to be transported to. Again, none of these worlds are desirable to live in, but I think Attack on Titan is a little bit worse. I mean, I don't think I could live fearing the outside world and knowing that I can be chomped on literally any day at any moment. Not to mention, I think being eaten by a titan would be far more excruciating and painful as opposed to Tokyo Ghoul and Promised Neverland. I think that if I was at least in a Promised Neverland world or the Tokyo Ghoul world, I probably wouldn't see it coming and it'd probably be quick and I probably wouldn't suffer as much. Attack on Titan, I probably can't say the same things.
Look at him. Disgusting. Makes my skin crawl.
And since we were just on the topic of being eaten, we simply can't leave out Majin Buu from Dragon Ball Z.
Think about it. This might be the only chance you have to test your true strength. There's still plenty of people on Earth that you can kill for your amusement while you're waiting for this fight. Huh?
Not only was he able to turn things and people into chocolate, but he also had the human extinction technique. Some may or may not agree with this being on this list, but I think standing in one spot and literally raising your hand to the sky and then shooting out a plethora of Kai beams at every single human on Earth and then wiping all of them out with great accuracy is very impressive, terrifying, and a cruel way to go out.
If those people do tell you no, me and Alexander will growl at them until they say yes. You tell them, Nina.
Hey, Nina, I've got an idea. Do you want to play with Daddy tomorrow?
Really?
Okay, so for this number 7 spot, I gotta admit that it was pretty cringe, and I still remember it being hard to watch. I still haven't forgiven the dad for what he did, and I don't think I ever will. The name of this anime is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. The name of the person responsible for the cruel act is Sho Tucker, and he basically merged his daughter Nina and the dog Alexander into one being. I can probably say with confidence that he is probably one of the most hated characters in the anime verse, and he deserves to be hated because what he did was very cruel and horrible, and to his own family no less. I can't imagine the amount of suffering his daughter went through, nor the betrayal she must have felt.
I'll do anything! I'll do anything you want me to do! But you have to wait. Because I have to save this person no matter the cost!
Now finally, we've reached our 8th slot, aka our last slot, and this character is from Hunter x Hunter. Her name is Pito, and she's involved in 2 instances. One instance is when we see her catch someone that had been lurking around, and she pokes at his brain. Like, she's literally prodding at it, and I can't remember his name, and I can't remember if he was still alive or not, but if he was, having your brain being poked while alive is definitely a cruel way to go out. I don't even want to imagine the pain he must have felt as well as the fear. Luckily for him, since he's gone and it's far too late now, Gon made sure Pito got what she deserved, and this is the second instance that Pito is involved in. Now this scene is pretty brutal, but I'd argue that Pito did some pretty messed up things. To this day, I still can't figure out if Kite ever stood a chance in the first place, but Kite didn't deserve that. And she lied to poor Gon about it, and he completely raged. Gon is such a kind person, and it's always scary when you push those kind of people to anger. I gotta say that they captured this really well in Hunter x Hunter, and I gotta give it its props. It was very interesting to see such a kind and happy-go-lucky character like Gon feel this intense rage and anger. Everything was pretty intense and had you on edge because you didn't really know what was coming next. I gotta say, this is one of the best moments in anime history, at least for me. Anyway, that's all I have for now. If this is liked enough where people express that they like this in the comments, I'll do a second part to this with more characters and more scenes. Be sure to tell me what you think. Is this list agreeable? Is everything I listed pretty cruel? If not, what do you think is cruel and why? Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Sierra Nova is out.